Markets without money, the Mesoamerican financial world. Long before European coins touched American soil, the people of Mesoamerica built one of the most sophisticated economic systems in the ancient world, a civilization of traders, markets, and currencies that were not coins at all. From the jungles of the Maya lowlands to the high plateaus of central Mexico, they created bustling marketplaces, standardized trade goods, and complex systems of taxation and tribute, all without metal money. This is the story of a financial world that thrived without mint, paper, or banks, the marketplace economies of ancient Mesoamerica. Foundations of the Mesoamerican economy. Between 1500 BCE and 1500 CE, the civilizations of Mesoamerica, the Olmec, Maya, Zapotec, and Aztec, built interconnected societies grounded in agriculture, labor specialization, and trade. Maize was their foundation, the heart of both life and economy. Around it, entire industries developed: textiles, pottery, obsidian tools, salt, jade, cacao, and feathers. Each city-state depended on others for materials it lacked, forming a vast web of regional exchange. Mountain settlements traded stone and minerals. Coastal towns sent salt and shells. Tropical zones supplied cacao and cotton. Trade was not an afterthought. It was the glue that held the region together. And at the center of this network stood the market, the heartbeat of Mesoamerican daily life. The rise of the marketplaces. By the Classic period, 200 to 900 CE, Mesoamerica had evolved into a true market civilization. Cities like Teotihuacan, Monte Alban, and later Tikal and Copan were not only centers of religion and power, but also hubs of commerce. Archaeological studies show evidence of market districts, open plazas, storage rooms, weighing stones, and merchant housing. Inscriptions and murals depict traders with goods and even taxes paid in kind, with textiles, food, or obsidian blades. Markets were held on regular schedules, sometimes daily, sometimes every 5 days, timed to the sacred 260-day calendar. Farmers brought maize, beans, and chili. Artisans offered tools and jewelry. Merchants sold luxury goods carried from distant lands. These markets operated on a dual system: barter for everyday goods and standardized commodities for larger exchanges. There were no coins, yet prices were astonishingly stable, regulated by tradition and overseen by officials. Commodity money. The currency of things. Without minted coins, Mesoamericans relied on commodity money. Goods so valued and standardized that they functioned as currency. Among these, 3 stood out: cacao beans, cotton cloth, and copper tools. Cacao beans were prized not only as food, but as symbols of status. In Aztec and Maya markets, cacao became the most common medium of exchange. A single turkey hen could cost 100 cacao beans. A tomato, just 1. Records from the Codex Mendoza and Spanish accounts describe people counting beans carefully, sometimes checking if they'd been hollowed or filled with dust, early evidence of counterfeit money. Cotton cloth, known as cuachtli, served as a higher value standard. Each piece had an accepted size and quality, used for large payments such as taxes, tribute, or major trade. And then there was axe money. Small copper implements shaped like miniature axes circulated across western Mexico. Though rare, they represented one of the first metallic value objects in the Americas. Together, these goods formed a layered currency system: cacao for daily trade, cloth for significant transactions, and metal for wealth storage. It was a marketplace economy without coins, yet fully monetized in practice. The merchant class, the Pochteca. In the Aztec world, trade was elevated to an art form, and the traders themselves, known as Pochteca, became a powerful social class. They were both merchants and diplomats, explorers and spies. The Pochteca traveled far beyond the Aztec Empire, to the Gulf Coast, Oaxaca, and even the highlands of Guatemala, carrying cacao, jade, feathers, and obsidian. They organized long-distance trade caravans, protected by warriors and guided by ritual. They kept detailed knowledge of foreign markets, routes, and prices, and sometimes gathered intelligence for the emperor himself. Unlike ordinary citizens, Pochteca had their own guilds, laws, and gods. They worshipped Yacatecutli, the lord of travelers and merchants, offering him incense before every journey. Through them, the Aztec economy functioned like a pre-modern global network, a web of human exchange, profit, and power, long before the concept of globalization existed. The market of Tlatelolco. At the center of Mesoamerican trade stood Tlatelolco, the twin city of Tenochtitlan. When the Spanish arrived in 1519, they were astonished. Bernal Diaz del Castillo described a market larger and more organized than any in Europe. Every day, 20,000 to 40,000 people gathered. Goods were divided by type: food, pottery, feathers, jewelry, slaves, and even lawyers worked there. Judges kept order, and inspectors checked quality. Prices were standardized and enforced by custom. Trade involved both men and women, with strict rules against theft and fraud. Tlatelolco was a pre-modern free market, showing that complex trade systems can thrive without coins, banks, or ledgers. Tribute and imperial economy. Beyond markets, the Aztec Empire relied on tribute, obligatory goods from conquered regions, as shown in the Codex Mendoza: cacao, textiles, feathers, jade, copper, food, and more. Tribute and trade were interlinked. Tribute supplied the empire, markets redistributed goods. Rather than suppress commerce, the state depended on it, circulating wealth through markets, temples, and feasts, echoing ancient reciprocity. The sacred side of trade, Mesoamerican trade, was spiritual as well as economic. Merchants prayed before journeys, offered gifts to gods, and saw trade as divine work. Cacao was sacred, a gift from Quetzalcoatl. Quetzal feathers symbolized purity and prosperity. To trade was to uphold cosmic balance, not merely to profit. Reflection. Markets without money. Mesoamerican markets reveal a timeless truth. Money is not the core of economy. Exchange is. They built thriving markets without coins, balanced wealth without banks, and traded through cacao, cloth, and trust. When the Spanish came with silver and gold, they didn't invent value. They replaced existing currencies. These societies prove that civilization can flourish without money, as long as it understands the power of exchange.